The weight of the world isn't in the problems we carry, but in the size of the heart that carries them. This is a truth I learned not from a book, but from a boy who once believed every raindrop was a flood. His name was Leo, and in his youth, his world was a very small place. A misplaced toy was a tragedy, a forgotten homework assignment was a catastrophe, and a scraped knee was a disaster of epic proportions. To Leo, every minor difficulty was a mountain, and he spent his days shouting about its impossible height. His complaints were a constant dreary soundtrack to his life. Understandably, his friends found his company draining. The air around him felt heavy with negativity, and soon, his world grew quiet and lonely, populated only by the echoes of his own frustrations. He saw the distance growing between himself and others, and it only gave him one more thing to complain about. His father, a quiet man with kind eyes, watched his son's growing unhappiness with a heavy heart. He knew that scolding Leo would be like trying to dry the ocean with a sponge. So one sunny afternoon, he asked Leo to walk with him. They said little as they left their home and walked towards the edge of town, where a small, stagnant pond sat under the shade of an old willow tree. Further on, a great river flowed, wide and powerful, on its endless journey to the sea. The father stopped at the pond. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small handful of salt, its white crystals gleaming in the sun. He let a few grains fall into the murky water of the pond. "Leo," he said softly, "imagine you had to drink this water now. What would it taste like?" Leo scrunched up his nose. "It would be bitter," he replied. "Awful." His father nodded. Then, he led Leo to the bank of the mighty river. He opened his hand and tossed the rest of the salt, a much larger amount, into the powerful flowing current. The salt disappeared instantly, consumed by the vastness of the water. "And now, my son?" his father asked, his gaze fixed on the moving water. "If you took a drink from this river, what would you taste?" Leo looked at the immense body of water. "Nothing," he said. "Just the river. The salt would be gone." His father placed a gentle hand on Leo's shoulder. "Exactly. The salt is the pain, the trouble, and the challenges of life. The amount of salt never really changes. It is always there. But the bitterness we feel depends entirely on the container we put it in. For a long time, you have been the pond. Your heart has been small, and so every little bit of trouble has made your entire world bitter. You have a choice. You can stop wishing for less salt. Instead, you can choose to become bigger. You can become the river." That simple lesson washed over Leo like the river itself. Something shifted deep within him. He realized he had been spending all his energy trying to fight the salt, instead of expanding the vessel that held it. From that day forward, Leo made a conscious effort to change. When he felt a complaint rising in his throat, he would pause and think of the river. He began to stretch the banks of his own heart. A difficult school assignment was no longer a catastrophe, but a puzzle to be solved. A disagreement with a friend wasn't a personal attack, but a chance to listen and understand. He started seeing challenges not as burdens, but as opportunities to become wider, deeper, and stronger. Slowly, miraculously, everything changed. A quiet calm settled within him. Laughter came more easily. People were drawn to his new steady presence, feeling the peace that now flowed from him. The most remarkable part was that the problems hadn't vanished. The salt of life was still there. There were still difficult tests, misunderstandings, and scraped knees, but they no longer defined him. They were just tiny grains in a vast flowing river. Leo had simply grown so large that they no longer had the power to make his world bitter. So, when life hands you its inevitable handful of salt, when you feel the sting of bitterness and the weight of your troubles, ask yourself a simple question. Am I a pond or am I a river? The problems won't shrink, we must grow. Don't pray for less salt, pray for a wider river. Be the river. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspirational videos. Wishing you a peaceful day and see you in the next video.